Hey, what's up? It's me, your girl E, coming to you today. I am beyond excited. We are discussing generational wealth. It is the POV, December 8th, 2024. It was scheduled for 5 p.m., but with technical difficulties and life. But nonetheless, we are here discussing the importance, the generosity of the gift of generational wealth. Understanding what generational wealth is to give to your generation. It's to make sure your generation doesn't have to worry about, I don't know, anything. We have the life insurance just for our family in case of a loved one die, big mama die, who gonna pay for it? She got the life insurance. But it's more than that. We want to create a generational wealth where it's like our children does not have to worry about work because they can work for the family business, creating an empire for the family, for the generation. This is, we talked about, of course, for numerous times in the years past, the Black Wall Streets, the Rosewoods, creating a village, a city, a community of businesses in the Black community. But it goes beyond the Black community. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond, like, what do you have for your family to fall back on? You know what I mean? And even if your family member does not want to go into the family business or really want to engage himself into that specific realm, your family can fall back on it in the event of. We've talked about, generations have talked about our housing, right? A friend of mine, years and years ago, her father built a house on top of this hill called Kiskimere. This is in the Katanning, Leechburg, Armstrong County in Pennsylvania. It was a house that he built for his children, that his children never had to worry about being homeless. Okay. And a few of his kids lived there. There was a place, it was bedrooms, it was bathrooms, it was kitchens, it was living rooms, it was diner, it was beautiful. So they can live there in the event of, we don't know what the event of, but you can always just go back home to get yourself together, to stack your money, just restructure yourself. And I just love that mindset. So we will leave our home to our children. We will leave our cars to our children. We will leave a couple dollars to our children, but really teaching them generational wealth. Now, you think about it, this is a Christmas season, right? This is now December 8th. We are merging into the holidays rapidly. Christmas will be here literally tomorrow, right? Figuratively, I'll say, figuratively tomorrow. What are we giving? Are we just giving the nigger rich mentality, excuse my French? Or are we giving them the clothes, the shoes, the purses, the watches, the jewelry? Are we teaching our children about generational wealth? All right, again, this is the POV. I got my brother from another mother, Ron King. He is a he doesn't have a PhD behind his name, but he is the doctor. I'm gonna call him Dr. Ron because one day he's gonna get that PhD behind his name. He is astute, he is astounding, he is knowledgeable, he is well spoken, he is eloquent, he's an orator. All right, my brother from another, Ron King. Ron, big ups. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. We salute you, sis. I appreciate that.
Always.
I'm not a doctor, but I appreciate the compliments, though.
You Dr. King here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, though. I definitely love talking about this subject that you have this evening. Generational wealth, very important topic. Um, I was an educator for some time, teaching civics and economics. Economics was one of the things that I really love talking to my students about, and just kind of helping them understand their priorities in their early years as professionals. And as I was trying to learn myself, because there was a lot of things about generational wealth I just did not know. Um, I'm 45 now, and is it has been a journey. I'm still learning, but I'm not where I used to be as far as knowledge, as far as planning and strategy. And if I can pass on something helpful, that would be great. Some of the concerns that I had with teaching in Black schools, high poverty schools, was, the statistics were astounding. You have 44% of African Americans that are uninsured, and they're not prepared in their transition in the state planning. Only 44% of African Americans own a home. You have 3 out of 4 who have less than $10,000 between the ages of 25 and 64, that have less than $10,000 in their retirement account. So we definitely have some ways to go. We've taken a few hits. We were doing really good before the civil rights movement. We were really on track. We were really doing well. We were married at high rates. We were building wealth at considerably high rates. We had arguably better jobs when it comes to cost of living. So the labor movement, the trades were thriving. So there was hope, but then something happened in the latter half of the 20th century and up until this point. I mean, inflation today is skyrocketed. It doesn't really have. I mean, you get eggs like $5. They're almost $5 for a carton of eggs. Who would have known something like that? Milk is like $6. It's like $4 to $6 for a gallon of milk. Gas prices are through the roof, and companies are still offering really low wages in comparison to what the cost of living is, because rent alone has went up tremendously. Talking about a 2-bedroom, 2-bath going for about $2,000, $1,500 to $2,000. If you look at that hourly rate, you should be making somewhere around $25 an hour. And that's just for somebody with a high school diploma. So we definitely have a lot of work to do.
How do we encourage it? So, like, generational wealth, it's like the family, the grandpas, the great grandmothers, the great grandfathers.
Mm-hmm.
They have this money. They have they stack the money. They have the insurance policies. That's what we're known to have. Big, Papa, Big Mama, Medea, Gigi, Mimi. They have this income. They have this money. They have this. They have a house. They have this property. But none of them have the businesses. They have, they had the jobs. They had the retirement plans. Whereas, like, I worked at this plant for 35, 40 years. I have a nice retirement settlement. I have a pension. And when I die, the money is deviated to the family members, mainly the children.
Mm.
We have the house. Like, I'm living in the house that my mother and my father bought. I own the property. Okay. Is that a type of generational wealth? Because
Absolutely.
any event
Absolutely.
that my daughter would need a place to live, God, Now she might move out and get married and have her own family, kids, whatever, but anything can happen. I'm not. She could be a young widow or divorce it. I'm not predicting nothing, claiming nothing, set nothing in the atmosphere. I'm not that person.
Yeah,
But say she would need a place to live. Would my property in Pittsburgh be a type of generational wealth?
absolutely. Passing down anything that can increase in value, that provides one of the necessities of life, definitely. It's an asset. I know there's I think there's a lot of commentary about whether or not a house is an asset or a liability. The only people that I know that actually say things like that are individuals that are extremely wealthy. Um, when you're trying to acquire wealth, you should be trying to own property. You should be trying to attain it. You should have the goal of, your future generations, your successors, to take it over and to find a way to leverage those assets to increase the 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 longevity of the family name. That's what legacy is. So there's a few core principles that I've come to value a great deal, and that's faith. So that's the Christian faith for me. I believe that's the only faith. I believe Jesus Christ is the only way to get to heaven, and I do not make any compromises about that. I do not. Um, uh, yeah, I don't apologize. I'm completely unapologetic when it comes to my Christian faith. And I've come to know God in a different way when it comes to finances and speaking about generational wealth and legacy. A few people that I've learned that from was Miles Monroe, Derek Prince, TD Jakes, um, Kevin Ewing is a more recent example of that, of a person that I've listened to over the years. Um, and the first and so while I'm talking about this first, so it's faith, financial independence, uh, obviously community responsibility. So acts within the community, and then legacy building. So, I'll say it again: faith, financial independence, community responsibility, and legacy building, right? Um, so those are core values. The other ones over the years that I had to lean in on were self-care. So faith, I gotta put this in. So faith, self-care, then family, and I'll explain if you want. And then financial independence, community responsibility, right? And legacy building, right?
All right.
So those
So
those are
wait a minute.
those are
So faith,
those are
you
the
got
core.
faith,
Faith,
self
self
care.
care,
So
self
what
care.
is you got to break that down because a lot of people don't get it. Self care.
I'll tell you why I said that.
Okay.
If you're not okay, your family won't be okay.
Wow. Okay.
Your vision will be compromised.
Or your vision will be. Listen,
Your
I'm gonna say
legacy
this.
will be compromised.
Let me say
And
this.
go
Let
ahead.
me say this. I am the most selfish person you'll ever meet. I'm gonna keep it 100, 110. I'm the most selfish person because I believe in self care. I believe in saying no. I will not. I will not compromise my physical health, my mental, emotional, spiritual health for the sake of pleasing you. Unless God has assigned it for me to do so, because He'll give you the strength. He said, "You'll bear." I'm paraphrasing Isaiah. He'll give you the strength you can do the things with the eagles and all that good stuff. I will not. And Lord forgive me because I'm an evangelist, so I don't know the scripture verbatim, and I need to get my life right. All I'm saying, like real talk, all I'm saying is this. Um, I will not compromise my emotional, mental, and spiritual physical health to please you,
Mm.
especially if I don't feel that I'm led. Um,
Mm.
I like if I go to work for 9 to 5, I go to work 9 to 5. I come home, cook the dinner. I got a whole family. Cook the dinner, and I'm exhausted. And somebody calls my phone. If I feel led to answer the phone, I'll answer the phone and engage
Yeah,
in whatever the conversation. If I am not led to answer the phone, I'm not answering the phone. I'm going to get that rest.
you should.
No, I will, because the fact that whatever my day had entailed, because whatever the day have entailed, I'm not exerting any extra energy for any of the shenanigans. A simple text saying, "Hey sis, call me when you free or call me tomorrow," would be sufficient. And I'll see the text in the morning, because you know how we do. We get up, we check our phone, we check Facebook, Instagram, whatever, messages, whatever. And I'll text back like, "Hey, what's going on? You good? Whatever. I'll call you in a minute." I will not. I will not, unless I am absolutely led, because self-care is important. Because if I'm not mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually stable, I can't help you.
There you
I'm
go.
not.
I don't need to say anything. You said it. So
I
it's
can.
not even a matter of it's not, well, if I could just back up for a minute. So the faith aspect of it, right? I was alluding to, there are principles, universal principles that anybody can follow, that there is a level of knowledge that you have access to when you're searching the scriptures. And as a Christian, there's so many different things that as I was coming up, I just didn't really understand. Um, if I could just share for a minute, there are, so for instance, doubt. Let's take doubt. I've said this before, but it's relevant to note here, and that is when you're starting a business or when you're just grown. If you're around people, if your circle doubts you, not only do you feel that, but that's not even pleasing to God. Like doubt, it takes faith to please God. So as a Christian, you're a follower of Christ. That means there are things we should be imitators of habit. We are made in the image of God. So, if I can drive this home, it's not that you're trying to be God, but it is you're trying to adopt living principles that will benefit you if you should follow. If you love me, you'll keep my commandments, is what Jesus was saying, right? But further than that, there are principles like doubt that you should be intolerant of when you're selecting friends. If your friends have things, or if you have family, friends, or a community of people that you socialize with, that they either think highly of you or they think lowly of you. You need to act and respond accordingly. But first, you need to look at the evidence, right? You can't just accuse, because Satan does that, right? Satan is the accuser of the brethren. Satan will say, "Ron, you're a chauvinist. Ron, you're a moocher. Ron, you're evil. Ron, you're jealous. Ron, you're this or that." You know what I'm saying? But they're baseless, though, because there's no receipts, there's no evidence. But when you observe certain people and their behaviors, that demonstrates a certain level, what they say. So out of the abundance flows the issues of life. So you listen to what somebody says, right? That's what Jesus said. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. He said it twice. So it's one of those things where you got to listen. You got to be, what the scriptures say, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man does not produce the righteousness of God. So there's certain principles that you need to follow. So if you're quick to listen, and if you're listening to what somebody is saying, and then you see what they do, that will tell you everything you need to know. So if they say, if they have something negative to say, even in jest, even if they're joking, if they constantly talk about people, if they constantly have something negative or a negative perspective of you, it would be proper, it would be necessary and proper to remove yourself from that circle, because that, believe it or not, kills a vision. Negativity and doubt kill productivity. It causes you to be confused about, where you need to go, because you're with people that love you but doubt that you can do things. And every Miles Monroe said it. A lot of people that have gotten somewhere, they say this. They say you need to remove yourself from people who doubt your skills, who doubt your character, who doubt this or that. You know what I'm saying? Not somebody that's giving you constructive criticism. Now, somebody's giving you constructive criticism. That's not doubt.
It's different.
You need to hold up the mirror and you need to own if they have receipts. Now, if they're saying how they feel, that is not necessarily what's happening. That's not, I can't tell you how many times I've had to get into conversations with people because how they felt, they looked at it as that was reality. And that, just because you feel a certain way, that's not necessarily reality. So those things, another principle, if somebody brings a gift to you, what does God say when you bring a gift to him? If you have an ought with a person, leave that gift at the altar, go handle that with that person.
All right, come on.
Don't give me no gift and your spirit ain't right. Now, look, what does it say in Proverbs? It says, put a knife to your throat when the king offers you his dainties, because you do not know what he will ask of you. And this is a principle that we need to understand. If somebody's giving you money every, a gift every Christmas and birthday, but their spirit is off, sometimes there's going to come a time, if you're sensitive to God's spirit, he's going to say, nah, don't you take that. Because the spirit behind the giver is just as important as the gift.
Didn't Abraham, the kings of Sodom, wanted to give Abraham some money? Abram, I don't know if he was Abram or Abraham. And again, all my pastor friends, preacher friends, are going to crack me up upon the skull because I should know this. But
I don't know.
No, he was like, no, it was a king of Sodom, and they was trying to give Abraham some money, like a blessing. He turned it down. He was like, nah, I'm good, because you're not going to tell people you made me rich.
Yeah. Okay.
And what I'm saying is, it's like, no, we good. Listen, we good, my man. I appreciate you much. Much love to you. You gonna hug it out, about dap it out, whatever. You're not. That's not gonna be in your vocabulary. You're not gonna sit there and have that narrative. Right. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing, though. See, look, I've turned down thousands of dollars because the spirit of the Holy Spirit told me, don't you take that money. And that person turned right around years later and said, I was money hungry. I was greedy. I was trying to go after what they perceived as wealth. Now, see, that tells you the perception of the giver, the spirit of the giver, how they perceive you is another principle that comes to mind. Don't cast your pearls before swine. Do not waste your time giving wise counsel to scoffers, to people that do not want to hear it.
They don't even want to hear it.
Why? But wait a minute. What happens if you do? The pigs will trample on it, and then they will turn and attack you. That's what it says. That's what it says.
You even think about the concept of that saying, don't cast your pearls before swine. Can you see a pig wearing pearls? Pearls is a luxurious piece of jewelry. Only the opulent wear pearls, the money. Pigs play in mud. They roll in it. They play in waste.
Yeah.
Why would you put? And if you open up the oyster, it's like one pearl. You got to open up many oysters. You got to work hard, and some oysters don't have the pearls, so you got to work hard to crack open the oyster to get the volume of pearls that you need, the quantity that you need to put around the pig that's going to roll around in waste.
And then attack you. So they're not going to value the information, and then they're going to accuse you of something. Um, so and that's just those are just a few principles that that tenet of faith provides for me. It provides for me stability because now I have clear cut protocols to use in order to make a decision about whether or not somebody is worthy to participate in this journey with me. And at the end of the day, you have to be selective. You cannot, because your time is valuable. It's a non-redeemable asset. That's one thing that we need to really understand. I'm just coming to understand how valuable time is. And technically speaking, we're going by statistics. 56% of my life is gone. I'm 45 if we're going by statistics. So I do insurance. I have a partner that I'm working with that does the investment side. So we try to educate people on financial wealth, planning for retirement, saving on expenses and whatnot. There was a lot of things that I just didn't know. So that's the faith aspect of it. The self-care, the reason why I say that, I think you already alluded to that, so I don't really need to talk about it too much. But one thing that individuals need to understand is that if you're not good, if you don't deal with those past hurts and traumas, if you don't get that therapy, if you don't treat yourself good, you're less likely to treat others good. And the scripture again says, treat somebody like you want to be treated. Do unto others as you would want to do unto yourself, as you would do unto yourself. So you should love you more than anybody. It's not to be selfish, but it is to be aware of the things that are holding you back, the things that have hurt you, and to deal with those things accordingly. And if you need to make decisions about, you're going to need to make decisions about those instances that have affected you in your adult life. Even if you got to go back to your childhood years and kind of reflect on those years, more than likely that's where the hurt lies. More than likely that's where a lot of the relationships that we have over the years come from. So it's important that we begin to understand how important it is to have the right people around us, because it's those past hurts that determine our present decisions. They gain momentum over the years, and they are a reflection of what our parents, the bad decisions or the good decisions that our parents have made. Case in point, I used to be a case worker or a social worker. I used to see a lot of different families. And one of the things about those families that I observed, about the different types of families that I've observed over the years, was that you saw generational trauma gain momentum and repeat itself in the next generation. You were able to look at the history. You were able to meet the family. You were able to sit and listen to the stories. You were able to interact with the kids. You saw generational patterns happening right in front of your face in present day because they were unresolved. The patriarchs and the matriarchs refused to hold the mirror up to their face and say, you know what, I need to do something about this, because this in part is my fault. I see this happening. They're not aware. And then they're not passing down life-changing information that could help the next generation avoid those pitfalls. And that's where that momentum comes from. We talk about generational curses. Oh my God. The last couple of years I've been looking into this because just been going through it, like if you want to just keep it real, like all of the years, right? If I reflect on my childhood, right?
Come on.
I've been I've been kicked out of schools like young. young, kicked out of school, right? It's so funny. I became a teacher at one point, right? But I was kicked out of schools, and then I'm looking at my older years, the tumultuous sort of experiences that I've had just on just in employment. Oh my God.
Wow.
Some of the people that I have met over the years have been absolutely malicious. Uh the level of accusation that I have faced over the years. The some of the decisions that I have made uh were just things that I picked up from being around the wrong people, making the wrong decisions. And it was a reflection of things that happened in the previous generation. And again, those things, those patterns, you have to pay attention to them. And then you have to break covenant with them. You have to look at the different kinds of trends in your family line, and you have to do everything you can to just kind of make it better. And each generation gets better. I think that's the goal, right? And if some people in your generation or in the previous generation, if they don't understand that, then there's nothing you can really do with them. Like, at least that's been my experience. There's nothing that's really going to come out of that unless they want to come along on the journey. If they don't want to come, they're going to show you, and then you just got to respond accordingly. There's nothing you can do. So just those three things of faith: self-care, financial independence, having the knowledge and then following up with the action. Having the knowledge and then following up with the action. I heard when I was growing up, you heard conversations around the dinner table, around family gatherings, about what white folks were doing with their money and their children, how they were passing on their wealth. You were listening to how Jews, what they did with their wealth and how they kept the wealth and how it passed down from one with the bar mitzvahs and the bar mitzvahs. And you heard all of this around the table. I never got a bar mitzvah. I never got one. You know what I mean? Like, success leaves clues, and you need to imitate. So if you're talking about that around the dinner table, well, set up a structure within your family.
I think because we do the
happening.
nigger rich. We do the nigger rich.
Well, we think in an individualistic way.
We do.
And we don't think in a cooperative way. Everybody's competing with one another, even the spouses. It's crazy. Like, this idea of just working together is so foreign. It is truly demonic. This level of division that's happening in family lines.
It's the epitome of demonic.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm a huge. Everybody that knows me know I'm a huge Mariah Carey fan. I love Mariah Carey. That is my chick. We share the same birthday. I've been rocking with her since the late 80s. I will always rock with Mariah Carey. I've read recently, within the past it's December, maybe late October, early November, that her own husband, Nick Cannon, said that he was in competition with her. Right? Her own
There's no
husband.
competition, Nick. I'm sorry.
Well,
but I mean, you the man, though.
No. We can laugh at it. We can ha, whatever. Like, Nick Cannon, really, my nigga? And I'm going to be 100. I don't care. They can ban me off Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. He said he was competing because he didn't want to be Mr. Mariah Carey. Now,
I can understand that, though.
Now, here's the thing.
Well, I don't understand the competition, but I can understand how he felt.
I get that, but you knew first of all, she was already a Grammy Award winner. She already set the bar for number ones when you married.
He knew that, though. Like, you knew you couldn't compete.
Right. He knew that.
Right.
Yeah. You married her in the early 2000s, so she was already Mariah Carey.
Yeah, she was the hype.
Even if she never put any more music, she was the icon for the 90s.
Yeah, right? She was dope.
Okay. Now, I understand where here's it on marriage. Okay. I'm not talking about say. I'm gonna talk about just marriage. I'm not general.
Yeah.
I could see where you thought you could benefit from marrying her because she had money, she had clout, she had reputation. Okay, her ex-husband was the president of Colombia, so she had clout, right? She had network. So you had a vision. It's like, all right. And he vocalized how he liked her, and he was a fan. What, all right, whatever. You married, whatever, whatever, whatever. And you was utilizing the network. But her star power overshadowed you. So now you became a competition where you sabotaged your marriage.
Did he? Is that what he did?
He basically said, I had a good one. I was in competition with her.
Oh, so he's saying that he messed that up.
He made it very clear, because you think about it, he made it very clear he messed it up. He sabotaged because she didn't want nothing but a husband. She didn't really produce any new music when they got together. Think about it. Because she was focused on being a wife and having children. Okay. He did the wilding out. He did the Nick at Night. He did. I get that you want to make your name. Now you got somebody behind your back to make your name. So she stepped back so he could lead. But because you was in competition with your wife. And now I get the name. The name itself, you can't push back. I get that, because you say Mariah Carey, it's a name by itself. It's a brand. But she stepped back so he can lead. And he said he was in competition. You're in competition with somebody who ain't even putting out work.
Well, they're operating off the residuals.
Well, I mean, you got the world.
She made like $20 million a year just on the Christmas.
Again, this is my chick. So I did my research because this is my chick, right? It's a marriage.
Right. Yeah.
It's not about competition. It's about working together.
Well, that whole idea of working together.
No, you can work together. You look at Priscilla and Aquila. Paul said he was talking about Priscilla and Aquila.
Good
and
point.
Aquila and Priscilla.
Yeah.
You look at certain letters, the epistle letters, Priscilla lead in some aspect, Aquila lead in some aspect. And then again, it was about, okay, so we don't know per se who was leading in. Say was the marriage ministry for women. Priscilla led. Say it was the men's group, Aquila led. Say it was the mothering. We don't know, but Paul used their names separately and led with their names differently.
Right.
And we all know the Pauline epistles was about a specific situation. I'm married. I told my husband a few months ago, E. Davis is the brand. That's the when I'm published in the publishing world, when I'm meeting and greeting people, it's E. Davis. Davis was my maiden name. That was my father's name. When I come home, I'm Mrs. Starks. E. Davis is out there. E. Davis is not in his home.
And that's a business. That's different.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to go somewhere and dismiss my husband. My husband understands and respects that when I'm out doing work, it's E. Davis.
Yeah.
It's E. Hey, what's up? It's me, you girl, E. When I shut the cameras off, I'm Mrs. Starks. I'm cooking. And my husband, he's not the type of person that like, he's not that dude like, I need you in the kitchen. I need you doing. He's not that guy. He's like, what can I help you? Because he's in fact, we were late because we were working together to prepare a meal for our daughter's birthday for Wednesday. It wasn't like, that's your daughter, this is, no, her parents were working together. Mr. and Mrs. Starks was preparing something for baby Starks. You get what I'm saying? And that's also the level of generational wealth. It's not just the money. It's about the legacy. It's about the love. It's about the endurance. We could quote the Bible, the wives submit to her own husband, and the husband sacrifice as Christ sacrificed for himself. We could say all that all day long. He could shata be all up in her shanana. We can jump over the pews, high five each other, tell your neighbor one time, tell your neighbor two times, and run into all that. But it's the ministry behind it, because when I think of my grandfather right now, my dad's father, Solim, he's 92. This dude is, my godfather calls him Timex. Right? He set the bar for making sure that my grandmother did not have to worry about nothing.
That was a different economy, though.
It wasn't about the economy. Well, of course, here's the thing.
That matters.
No, I'm not going to dismiss that. The economy is much different today, of course. He retired late 80s, early 90s, but he set the bar.
Yeah.
So if my husband or my daughter or her husband needs an example of being more practical and getting what is needed instead of what we want. And who doesn't want you think about Gatsby. Gatsby was flashy. Gatsby was that dude.
What book?
Gatsby, the Great Gatsby. There's only one book. Gatsby had the lavish parties. Anything and anybody came to his parties, right? It was the epitome. He wanted to show that he had the money. He wanted to show that he was that dude. But was that practical? Nah. Because if you read the end of the Great Gatsby, and those who didn't read it, I'm not going to give nothing away. It was a different story. With generational wealth, we want to look at what's more practical, so our great-grands, our great-great-grands can benefit from it. And it's not just a family business. It's about the longevity of what we establish as a family unit or as a people.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't want to keep saying the Black people. I don't want to lemonize it. I don't want to just like make it seem like the Black people, because it's more geared towards the Blacks, the Black culture, because of life, the slavery, all that I don't want to say shenanigans, Lord forgive me. We had to set a bar for us because of the state of America.
We did phenomenal.
Well, you got to think about it. Like, really, at the end of the day,
like post-slavery, like we were amazing. Like
we were beyond amazing, because we had no. But the thing was, we was beyond amazing. We had no choice.
We did. We had a choice. We could have been failures. We could have been
failures.
We could have been denied. We could have denied ourselves the opportunity.
But they didn't want us. We couldn't go to the local store because it was whites only. So we had to create our own store. We couldn't go to the railroads because it was like, whites. It was mainly a whites only situation. Like, let's create our own situation. Let's create our own libraries, our own movie theaters, our own doctor's office, our own.
But beyond that, though, like we talk about the segregation in public facilities, but there are some other very real and generational issues that pass down from generation, from what you're talking about, which is racism and segregation and peonage and all of these different convict leasing and all of these different compromises that our country made. Now, I love America. I love the United States. I really don't think there is a better country, quite frankly. But I haven't traveled to all of the countries. I haven't traveled to probably maybe 2 countries. So I don't have a lot of experience. However, speaking of people who have traveled, they have a different appreciation for the United States when they travel. So I'm gonna go off of that one. I love America. So I'm not one of those people that, don't. I stand up and I say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Like America's a great place. Make no mistake about that. A lot of opportunity that native born Americans take for granted, and then complain about people who come from different countries who are taking advantage and by leaps and bounds. Absolutely grateful for the opportunities that this country provides them. Now, is there some tension between immigration and some of the things that people from other countries get versus native born citizens? Yeah. Are those arguments valid? Yeah, they're understandable. Absolutely. However, it doesn't negate the fact that, we do take what we do have for granted in this country. But it's one of those things where we have to consider what we are doing with ourselves. How are we passing down generational wealth from one family to the next within our bloodline? Are we teaching the next generation? Are we investing in the next generation? Are we acquiring assets with them in mind? My grandfather worked in the steel mill almost 40 years. My father's father. He same thing, Ev. My grandmother was a homemaker, but she also had part-time jobs as well. She was in the mill. She was making munitions during World War II. I mean, she was in the mix. So it wasn't like they didn't have part-time jobs, or my grandmother didn't have part-time job and contributing to the family. They worked together, but the roles were established, but the economy was different too. You could work one job and pay the bills. You might have just been scraping by. You might have some tough times. The economy might hit you hard. Yes, absolutely. But try that now. And what do you have to make now in order to make that happen? And I think that makes a huge difference when you're talking about then versus now. I mean, college tuition alone is up like 1,500%. That is a real number. You in the 60s, you could work part-time and get a college degree. You can work full-time and get a college degree part-time and pay for it with that full-time job. You can't do that now. You have to take out loans. Parents are going into foreclosure to pay for their kids' education, or they just allow their kids to, rack up debt. And then I grew up at a time, and I do believe this was a generational. This was the phrase of the day. You can be whatever you want to be. That's what that phrase was. That's what the culture was saying to their children. It does not mean the parents were bad. It just means we were ill-advised as kids. And every parent, every household wasn't saying that. When you talk about people coming from other countries, they select the profession for you and come home with a few B's and see what happened to you. There's a level of expectation that we fail to realize a lot of the time when we're looking at generational wealth. Mentality is probably your faith, your mentality towards yourself and others, and then towards your future is everything. It dictates who you allow to come into your circle. It dictates what kind of classes you pick. It dictates what kind of profession you pursue. It dictates how you feel in work, how productive you are. If you don't have any urgency, it's probably because you feel lost. It's probably because you may feel confusion. It's probably because somebody is not guiding you in a direction when you yourself don't know where you want to go. And that's the job. And this was a misstep. I'll say a misstep of yesterday was to tell your kids you can do anything you want to do. No, that's not. That's the reality. Is you need to do what's paying the bills, and then you can venture out. Once you establish yourself as a professional, once you have a certain amount of money in the bank. One thing that I learned with my partner, good person. Sharon's really good person. And I'm talking about business partner. I know a lot of people use that language interchangeably. I'm talking about business partner and somebody. She's a mentor of mine, and she's been teaching me about, just the stock market, investments, risk management, all of these different aspects of financial wealth, right? And what I tell you that rule of 72, a one-time $10,000 deposit into a retirement account of some sort, into a mutual fund. The S&P 500 will give you 10% over the years. So we don't teach that. At least I haven't learned that, right? I didn't know that. It took me so long. I was around family members who studied stocks, who invested in stocks. Nobody pulled me aside and taught me that. I heard about, a lot of things. I heard about entertainment. I heard about what actors and actresses were doing, who they were married to. I heard about what the Jews and the whites were doing. But nobody pulled me aside and said, look, when you get your first job, this is what you need to do. Let me show you what to do and how to do it. That was something that is it's missing in what we're doing now. We're leaving the kids.
So there was no instruction.
Yeah, there was instruction. There just wasn't instruction in that area. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Or the instruction may have been flawed because of what was popular of the day. It wasn't necessarily, a character flaw, but it was just something that was it was just a popular statement.
Okay, so let's tap into. I'm gonna make it personal. Let's tap into the E. Davis bundle. Another slice of pie. August Schofield in American Dream. This is we are the POV. Ron King and E. Davis. Brother and sister. We partners in crime. I'm the Batman to his Robin.
The show.
He is the Alfred to the Batman. He's Alfred to Bruce Wayne.
You just call me Alfred. I ain't no Alfred. I don't care what you tell me.
I'll be Alfred. I'm fine with that.
I'm not Alfred. I'm not Alfred.
I'll be Alfred.
You calling me no Alfred?
I'll be Alfred.
We call me no Alfred, man.
I'll be Alfred. I'll work in the Batcave because Alfred.
You ain't no Alfred either, so stop lying.
But so we got to find the Alfreds because Alfred was that dude. Alfred was the one that.
Alfred was the man, though. I ain't gonna front. Alfred saved. Alfred came through. I ain't gonna front.
Alfred was like, listen, my man, you can't keep jumping off these buildings trying to catch the Joker. You ain't 27. The E. Davis bundle.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Okay, so we got Another Slice of Pie, August Schofield, and the Legend of Vision Campbell. These are the books that I published from 2021, 22. A Legend of Vision Campbell is an award-winning novel that I wrote 2020. Wow, 19. I can't remember 2019. Wow.
Yeah. Look at you.
No, 2007. 2017. It was an award-winning novel. I published that. I wrote that with the competition of NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is a competition in November. November is National Writers Month for all writers, and you participate in this contest. Write 50,000 words in a month. August Schofield, The American Dream. Again, Another Slice of Pie. Now, my goal as an author, me as an author, I didn't want to write about the good times mentality.
Okay.
I was definitely inspired um, by the Cosby Show
Yes.
era, where we didn't talk about money. We
Yeah.
talk about bills. The episode wasn't about how we're gonna get this rent paid, how we're gonna get this light bill paid. It was about
Right.
life. It was about life. Every one of my characters are black individuals, African Americans. Um, they have money. Money is not the issue. The issue was dealing with the problem that they were facing. With another slice of pie, you can see a gentleman finds out that he may have a kid. She's 22 years old, and he finds out he may have a kid. His name is Andrew Gallagher. He's from a very affluential African American family. They're like the Black Kennedys. They have pull, they have rank, they're into politics, they have that type of power. Um, he may, and this kid may be his. So now he has to deal with the idea of how do I handle this with the respect of our family name. And again, in today's society, the paparazzi is everywhere, anywhere. But my family name can buy out, can quiet any type of negative accusations. If that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. That's why generational wealth is so important. It gives you the opportunity to control the narrative, to dominate the narrative, to move where you need to move. If you don't like this area, you can move to another one. Doesn't really matter. You can go to another country if that's what you like to do. That's what you're doing when you are exercising the privilege of acquiring assets over time.
Now,
It
with
is truly
generational
a
wealth,
privilege.
is that a type of cover up? Because in this situation, those who haven't read it need to read it. And those, are you covering up secrets? You're using your power to cover up secrets, or you're using your power to protect secrets?
Um, I think it's yeah. I think that's what you do. I think discretion. You buy it and sell it not. Wisdom, knowledge, and discretion. You buy it and sell it not. Love covers all things, right? Or love covers up a matter. I believe. I believe that's what it says, right? But the point is that um, your business, just because you're wealthy doesn't mean you are responsible or obligated to share your very private, personal events that's going on within your household or within your extended family to the public. You don't owe the public or anybody else anything. So if you have the resources to keep something quiet that may embarrass the family, that may hurt the family name, because a reputation, you keep that reputation. Scripture talks about, hey, a good reputation is solid. It's what you want, and you don't just dismiss a good reputation. Matter of fact, you do what you can to protect it. So, one thing about grace is that you have the opportunity without deserving one. Now, that's the thing that, people forget. I got an opportunity, so when somebody says I did this myself, when somebody says you got to get your own, when somebody says that, that's typically saying, I'm not going to help you. They're trying to set up some sort of justification for not helping you when they in fact received help. And when you're talking about a good reputation matters in society. When you come from a good family, a strong family name, a wealthy family, you get a different response when your child is caught up in something than opposed to a child that comes from a poor family or a family that doesn't have the kind of social backing, the social capital or the working capital to be respected in the same way that a wealthy, affluent family does. And the consequences are going to be more harsh because that's just how people are. The poor has no friends.
Protection. Or protection.
You know
Or
what I mean?
protection. So
Yeah.
the book, August Schofield, The American Dream. This is, as an author, I wrote this book. This is actually my favorite book of all the books that I've written. I've written
Yeah.
8 books. This is my favorite.
So why is that your favorite book?
I think because it taps into the creativity of an author. It
Okay.
taps into the creativity of a writer.
Like the process, the creative process of a writer?
All that, the creative process.
Yeah.
Tap it into the creative realm.
Yeah.
I've spoken about it in my, if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I talk about Tuesday tips. Tap into the creative realm. It can be very draining. It can be very emotional. It can be very, it's exciting. It's emotional. It's draining. It's confusion. It's everything because you don't know where you're going in the creative realm. There's the pantsers and the plotters. And I talked about that. The pantsers are those that just write. They get the notebook, they get the pen, they get on the computer. They allow the creativity take them there. The plotters create diagrams, outlines, all that stuff. They got to stick to the plot. They got to stick, the format, the type A personalities. I'm a little bit of both. But August Schofield, The American Dream, as I wrote that, I named the character after August Wilson, Pittsburgh playwright.
Nice.
But technically,
yeah,
my mother, may she rest in peace, she died October of 98. Her birthday is in August.
Oh, okay.
So there's a twofold August situation there.
Nice.
But she wants to write her Gatsby, her signature novel. And with Generational Wealth, that person is known for their signature contribution, their signature business deal, their signature vibe into American society. Carnegie is known for his industrialism. He's Pittsburgh. He's, this is the early 1900s when Pittsburgh was about, and most New York, Pittsburgh, all these other little cities was known for their industrial movement. Carnegie was known for it. If you meet Blair Underwood, went to Carnegie Mellon. Like, think about it. It was a school of the arts. She wants to write her signature novel. She wants to be known for a Pacific. She's a single mother. She's an author. She's an African American woman. She wants to be known for a Pacific book, not books, plural. Because when you commercialize your work, you're just writing it just for the check. She's like, I don't need the check. I want to be known by something. If you think of Michael Jackson's work, he was Michael Jackson from the time he was in Jackson 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was little Michael Jackson, grew up and became Michael Jackson.
Because of Joe.
Joe. We understand the background.
Cats hate Joe, boy.
I don't hate Joe. I ain't mad at Joe. Joe, like, listen.
I mean, I ain't saying he's innocent. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, I ain't mad at Joe. Joe was like, look here, we got a vision.
Joe had them boys.
Joe said we had a purpose. I'm not your daddy tonight. Okay? Even Janet Jackson was like, he sacrificed his emotional connect to his children for a purpose. Okay, I need to get these kids off the hood. I'm not gonna be living here we got 10 good years in this hood. He told Catherine, sew up these costumes because we up out of here.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. They had the costume with the flowers on it and the fringes. Yeah. Talk about give me one more chance. Them the goofiest looking costumes ever in life.
Yeah.
Okay, but Joe's like, we got 10 years. Okay. There was a purpose for each one of them kids. Each one of them kids got them out the hood.
Yeah.
Living in a two-bedroom house.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Joe was like, no, we got 10 years. That's it. I got a vision. Habakkuk 2 said, write the vision, make it plain. Like, come on.
Yeah.
No, we ain't gonna be living like this. No, I'm not doing this. But what I'm saying is, she was a single mother who had a vision. Like, I'm a writer, I'm an author. The difference between author and writer, and let me make it plain. A writer is more of a journalist. You're telling the stories of other people. You're giving information. That's a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, most journalists are writers. But an author tells a story. They tell a story. It's fiction.
Mm.
My character, August Schofield, is an author. She said, I'm an author. She was in a tumultuous, if I'm saying it right, situation.
Multiple. Yeah.
I'm getting up out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. And she established her American dream for herself and her daughter, her child. But she was like, I'm not going to be commercialized. A lot of writers, a lot of business people will allow themselves to be commercialized for the sake of the money. Am I saying they sold their soul? No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. But F. Scott Fitzgerald, who wrote The Great Gatsby, the majority of his work was more short stories in the New York Post magazines for that money to shut his wife up. Her name was Zelda. Okay.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Right. He has about 7 novels. Okay. Because she had mental illness, his wife. He loved his wife. And he was alcoholic, so it was so much nonsense going on.
Busy house.
He could not tap into the creative realm to write his work. But The Great Gatsby foretold what was the future. When I first read it and I saw how he put Negro or colored people were driving the people, which was white people. No. It was a white person driving Negroes. The white person was the chauffeur to Negroes. I said in my ignorant mind, oh no, he didn't. Yeah, he was telling you what was going to happen. That Black Americans was going to tap into the American dream to build a generational wealth that they can hire whomever to transfer them from point A to point B. We laughed about it. We clapped about it. We celebrated in Forrest Gump when Bubba's mama, who was a maid, now had a white woman maid fixing her shrimp. We was like, oh, I know that's right. Because of the money that Forrest Gump was accumulating because remember, he made the covenant with Bubba. And I'm not just being funny, but Forrest Gump made a covenant with his friend Bubba on having a shrimp boat. And he promised his mama that we're going to split it down the middle. So the money that he made, he gave half to his mama. Now his mama didn't have to work for nobody. This is Bubba's mama. Bubba was his black friend in the army. So she no longer had to live off of anybody. She was now being provided for by her son.
Now does August have a similar story?
No, August Schofield basically she wants to just write her.
Does she come from poverty?
She just wants to write. No, I'm not going to necessarily say poverty, but because she was a single mother, she was now forced into a situation where she had to work. She had to hustle. She got a baby to take care of. It's not the time to cry and say, well, it was me. It's the time to get out of the situation and use the talents that was given to her. Her talent was writing. And so what she did was she wrote a book. It became a bestseller. She took that money. She moved to New York. She was living her best life, but she was not writing her signature novel, her Gatsby. But her friends and family was saying to her, you are the American dream.
Why did they say that?
They didn't say it in actual verbiage, but they were telling her, you you're the American dream,
Yeah.
because you're not living paycheck to paycheck. You have established yourself as somebody of great accountability, great credibility, because you are a celebrated individual. You are the American dream, meaning that you did it. You accomplished everything you wanted to do.
Mm.
And she didn't realize that she's it. And I speak vocally, especially to the Black woman, that Malcolm X even said, in the world it's evident, the Black woman is the most disrespected woman in the world, because you look at the casting system. A Black woman who was demonized to be a failure, demonized to not be heard, as now is a celebrated author in America.
Mm-hmm.
The American dream.
Is there a reason why you chose that storyline? Is that the reason?
No, I chose the storyline because 2005, 6, 2006, I had a dream that I had, as a writer, as an author, I had manuscripts on top of manuscripts, pages upon pages written. I've always written. Those that know my story know that I've written since I was 8. I knew that I wanted to be a writer when I was 8. Watching an episode of Jeffersons, I said I'm going to be a writer. That was it.
Well, what was it about the Jeffersons that sparked your interest?
Florence it's season 7. I don't know the episode number. Season 7.
You got
Because I had to Google it.
The episode? You got the actual episode.
I had to Google it. I had to Google it just for content. Florence said, I'm going to write. I remember that.
Yeah.
I was actually on punishment for not doing my homework. I was 8 years old. September of 84. Yeah. My father came into the room. He bought, he didn't have no. He's came into the room and he said, you could watch TV if you want. I'm like, and I knew what that meant. I mean, I'm off punishment. I had a small black and white TV that my father's mother's mother gave me.
Yeah.
Sometime it worked, sometime it didn't. That day it worked. When it didn't work, it was like black with white pinstripes. You had
That's funny. My sister had a similar one.
It took like
a week. Small black and white TV.
Yeah, it took like a week through. It was horrible.
That thing came through.
It was horrible.
Oh no, it was clutch though. Now it was clutch. That thing
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Although it was black and white, I knew the colors of the characters.
Yeah.
What they wore.
Okay.
Okay, now it's not like a contradiction, but I just knew. And I knew this is God ordained, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was playing my dolls, Barbie doll, Ken doll, whatever. My dad said, watch TV. I turned on the TV. The Jeffersons was on. I didn't want to change the channel in case the TV went out.
Yeah.
Florence said, I want to write a book. This is what I heard at 8 years old. Not to say that this was the script. And I said, I'm going to be a writer. I want to be a writer. I told my parents, and they was like, okay, thinking 8-year-old, next week you want to be a ballerina. Next week you want to be an astronaut. But I knew that I was going to be a writer.
Any particular reason why that just resonated with you?
Because my
8 years old.
My father and my grandmother, my dad and his mother had the gift of creativity, writing, but it didn't manifest in them. It manifested in me.
Mm-hmm.
So I told my parents. They was like, okay, but again, this is nothing different. It wasn't nothing strange. And when you're 8, you could change your mind the next day. So they was, eating dinner like, okay, but I knew from that point on, I wasn't without a pen and pad. I had a pen and pad all the time. Fact, I still didn't do no homework because I was always imagining. No, I'm doing no homework. Who got time for spelling words? You're trying to write a book. Um,
That's funny.
and I went to a writing school when I was 15. I went to a writing school. I participated in a writing contest. I got accepted. It was free. We moved to Monroeville. My mother helped me with the bus schedule because she had to get me on the bus, whatever. Went to because they just saw it. They just saw that this was something I'm serious about was writing. I was always writing, creating stories.
Now, who found that the contest in the program?
I did. I don't even remember how I found it.
How old were you?
14, 15.
Okay. Right.
It was through school. It was writing contest. They called my mother on a Saturday. They accepted my admissions. We were moving to Monroeville within the next 2 months, and my mother helped me navigate the bus schedule to get to the center for writing.
Nice.
But again, I was 15, so I was 8, looking at 7 years. But what I'm saying is, I was always writing. I always had a note. Like I'm in my office now. You see books behind me. I always had a notebook, a pen, highlighters, pencils. When I turned 16, my father gave me, well, my parents, I'll say my parents, but my father emphasized it. On my 16th birthday, March 27th, he said, do not buy any ink pens. Do not buy any paper. They gave me $100. Do not buy highlighters. Do not buy clothes. Because that's what I did. I'll go to the Farmore.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Those
Farmore. Wow. Yeah, you went back.
Yeah, I would go buy notebooks. I would go buy pens. I would go buy because I was in the career. I lived in the creative realm.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about buying clothes. I bought some tights, some leggings, a bandana. My parents jacked me up. It was like, what? But what I'm saying is I lived in a creative realm. And so my life consumed of creativity.
Yeah.
And August Schofield had a muse. The muse, any author, any musician, any artist, they have a muse. Usually the muse is for a season to get through that creative point. I had a dream in 2005, and it was Tyler Perry, because was it 2006? 2000 Perry. Tyler Perry. This is what he did to Diary Mad Black Woman. He did the plays. This is all on DVDs.
Yeah.
And we was binging it. We binged it all day. Like we watched the DVDs, play it back. Watch the plays, play it back. I had watched Tyler Perry, and in a dream, he took my book and put on a CD with his face, branding, whatever. And I said, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Oh my God, thank you, Jesus. And then I woke up. I was like, woo, too much Tyler Perry, because it was all day.
Yeah.
Right. Then I went back to bed, and I saw him talking to my boss. I was like, and I'm in my cubicle like, well, Tyler Perry's talking to the boss. I woke up the next day, and I talked to my pastor. He's my bishop. Rest in peace. He said influential figures will help you with your writing whenever you're inspired to write. And I was like, all right. Now, at the time, my situation was not ideal to write. I was in a very bad situation. I could not tap into that creative realm. He said, your writing is going to take you higher than your job. Don't quit your job. But when you get there, you're going to take you higher than your job. I'm like, all right, cool. The influential figure was not Tyler Perry. It was in the dream, but not in real life.
Yeah.
Okay. In 2008, a friend of mine, she had moved back to Pittsburgh. She stayed with me for a few months. She had a boatload of DVDs, like a tote of DVDs.
Yeah.
She wasn't home, so I'm diving in. I'm like, woo, what she got? What she got? You know how we do. We just going through people's stuff. Woo, what she got? I'm going to watch this. I'm going to take this. And she had these DVDs. I did a particular actor. I started, and again, classics, all classics. I put them in, and the creativity began to manifest. I'm like, and I was working on a particular book. I really was. And I started writing. I got my notebook. I just started writing as I was watching this movie. And I wasn't mimicking the movie. I wasn't quoting nothing from the movie, but there was something on the creativity of this particular actor that pulled the creativity out of me.
Who was it?
Right? The actor is Johnny Depp.
Very good actor.
And again, am I a Johnny Depp fan? I mean, why not? You know, have I watched all his stuff? No, I don't. I'm not watching all his stuff. But
yeah, he has range. He played a lot of different roles.
He's the epitome, right?
Yeah, he's really good.
But when I'm led to a Johnny Depp movie, rather it's an old school movie to a new school movie, I watch it because there's something in the movie that's going to spark the creativity. Okay, also, the creativity of his stuff leads me to a creativity. So I can't be biased. Right? I can't be like, oh, I don't listen to that. I don't know. I gotta look at the creativity. I gotta look at the creative realm. Now, here's the thing. I'm not undiscerning. I'm like, oh no, that's demonic. If I know something is not of God, I'm like, nope, I don't care what it is. I'm not, no, that's not of God. That's not glorified. No. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna engage in it. I'm not gonna look. I'm like, no. The spirit of discernment. I'm like, nope, we good. Because I think I watched the Pirates of the Caribbean one time and didn't get nothing out of it. I'm like, all right, I'm cool. Because it was weird. It was too much. Okay. Yeah. But it was just something. I mean, I gotta pay attention. I call him my muse. I tell my husband. Now, here's the thing. I don't look for him. I don't look for him on social media. When I have writer's block, I don't look for him. I don't channel him. I don't do stuff like that because that's demonic. That's weird. That's not nonsense. But I know that if I'm on my social media or my Yahoo going through my Yahoo feed, if I see him, I might see a magazine at the grocery store with him on it. I might go to the video store, look for something, and I happen to stumble upon him. If I see him on a repetitive basis, I call it a muse sighting.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And I got to be open to the inspiration that is coming. My book, The Road That Life Turns, was inspired by New Edition's Home Again.
Word.
But what I'm saying is, I had a muse sighting. So this is after the New Edition movie. Remember, when the New Edition movie came out, it was a mini series on Lifetime, and whatever. So my husband bought the Home Again CD.
Yeah,
we're bopping to it. We're jamming to it.
Yeah.
But the song Home Again, I was like, But it was the creativity of Johnny Depp, seeing him on a repetitive basis, that led me to the song. And again, I don't want people thinking, oh, she's a witch. You know that Beyonce shenanigans. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be. I ain't drinking lemonade. I ain't plugging my mincies. I ain't doing none of that. Listen, and the Beehive gonna come for me after this video. You can come for me you want to. No weapon formed against me.
Call you a witch after that?
No weapon formed against me.
You're inspired by a person.
Some the evangelical, whatever, all the shit enough people. All I'm saying is, when you tap into that creative realm, I ain't gonna say I will say be open, but not be open. Be open to the inspiration, but be discerning of what it is.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so that was August Schofield because she wanted to write her Gatsby, her signature novel. The Legend of Vision Campbell. I was 2017, right? I was intrigued by the concept of NaNoWriMo. November, all the writers are watching this video. All the writers watching this video. November is National Writers Month. NaNoWriMo, from November 1st to 30th, we are encouraged to write 50,000 words, a book. If you are a true writer, a true author, you can do it because you have 11 months.
Yeah.
11
Oh, okay.
months.
So you had
11
11
months of
months. Okay.
inspiration. You have 11 months of inspiration, 11 months of ideas, 11 months of preparation. Okay? So put on your big boy drawers, your big girl panties, and get it done. I participated in 2017. I participated in 2022, and I won. Is there a significant winner? No, right? Numerous writers. All you had to do is get 50,000 words in a month. But I did that. E. Davis did that. Okay. The Legend of Bishop Campbell was dropped in 2017. I wrote that about an affluential family. Okay. Affluential. You're going to an island that's designated, that is created and it is specific for African Americans. It is
Mhm.
the FUBU of destination. It is the FUBU of vacation. For us, by us. Okay.
Yeah.
Hashtag Damian John. Okay. But you need money. That means you can't just come over there on, your prepaid credit card and hoping that when you check out, no. Okay.
Prepaid though.
You know how we do.
Okay.
Come on, we know how we do. We hope that when we check out, that's going to go through. Listen,
Oh yeah, when you hold your breath,
you're like,
you hold
fix,
your breath. You
fix
hold
it,
your breath
Jesus.
like
Fix it, Jesus. You're like,
you looking at the exits. You looking at the exits. All
you
right, how
checking
many
out
exits?
before checkout time,
How
hoping that
many exits? How many exits are there? I might have to.
you
Where's
checking out, but
security? Let me
checkout
keep
is
an
at
eye on
12.
security. You see him
Checkout is
looking
at
at the
12.
ground.
Wait a minute, checkout is at 12. You leave it at 10:45. You're like,
Check out at 12. You leave it at
okay.
10. Like, let
Wait a
me get
minute.
on
And,
out of here.
and then we
Get on
niggify
out of here
it.
before they
And
start.
then we niggify it. We take the soaps, we take the shampoos, we stock it up.
Check it out at 10:45.
We like, hey,
Oh man.
thank you for your accommodations. Appreciate you. I'm gonna write a review, knowing that we didn't do right. Okay, but all I'm saying is this: it's an island. It's called the island.
Mm-hmm.
There's an old money versus new money. Okay, and that was also the Gatsby concept because new money wasn't accepted when it comes to old money because old money is like, listen, they're gonna come here with the shenanigans. If those that watch the Gilded Age or HBO Max, crazy, crazy. It ain't scandalous like we see, some of the TV shows you watch, but it's the establishment of
Mm-hmm.
America, the railroad system, the working man. The Gilded Age is only 2 seasons. Watch it. Please watch it. It's HBO Max. Please watch it. It's so good, especially old money versus new money, because it's about privilege, it's about establishment, it's about belonging, it's about your place. And there's even in the black community, because the black community has money, but again, it's your place, right? And it deals with light skin versus dark skin.
Yeah.
Something I grew up never having to experience in my own family. I come from a variety of blacks, from light skin to dark skin.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody made me feel like I had to pass the paper brown test. Nobody made me feel like I wasn't good enough because I was dark skinned. I have light skinned family members that never make me feel less than. I got dark skinned family members that make me feel like I don't belong. But when you step out in the real world and you
Yeah, that
hear
thing's
this
real.
nonsense, my godmother, my godmother was Beyonce light skin.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister was Mariah Carey light skin. And my godmother told me that how her grandmother treated her like she was nothing because
Mm-hmm.
of her dark skin. I said, "Well, Aunt Joyce, how are you dark skinned? Because you lighter than me. I don't get. Look, I don't get it."
Well, that speaks to how we curse our children. And if
That's
you're
what I'm
talking about
saying.
generational wealth,
Yeah,
yeah, there's the mindset, but there's also this uh Coach Prime, Deion Sanders.
that's my man.
He said he ranks his kids. I'm so glad he said that because in briefly it sparked the conversation about, man, he's wrong for that. He gonna rank his kids. A lot of parents do that. And a lot of parents don't do it in such a way to where they're willing to admit it. A lot of parents will rank a kid as, oh, that's my smart kid, that's my dumb kid. This is my good kid, that's my bad kid. And that's not necessarily true, but that's the perception that they have. And then there's other parents who swear up and down that all their kids were loved the same and they were raised the same. No kid in the same household is raised the same. That is virtually impossible because each kid is different. And you have to, and each kid, you respond to each kid differently because of what strings or what buttons they push on you as an individual. And that affects how you interact with them. And now I'm speaking just in a practical, in a very transparent way. Um, I case in point, my kid was, and we're talking about generational wealth. I'm coming full circle, so just give me a minute. Um, and I'm talking about how parents curse their kids and they don't even know it.
Yep.
Um, if they call this one the good one and that one the bad one, that's a curse you're speaking on your kid.
You're
If you
speaking
really
life
think
and death or the power of the
right,
tongue.
yeah, if you think this kid is stupid and this one is smart, or the other side, which is extremely rare with parents, particularly back in, anything before our generation and this whole soft parenting thing, gentle parenting phenomenon kind of took place, which, it has its place. It has a number of things that I agree with in it, and it also has a number of things that I don't agree with, which is with anything else. But prior to this gentle parenting era that we're in, um, parents often make early decisions, premature decisions about their kids. I mean, and it'll come down to oh, this kid was so smart, and they're like one, and they could be developed quicker. Um, and that's just how you don't have time to kind of learn your kids. You're working like a dog. You're constantly just trying to make ends meet. You're trying to get the best out of life you can. You're focused on so many different issues. It's difficult. So in passing, you got to pick up the kid, you got to drop the kid off, you got to make sure the kid does his homework or whatever. So in those observations, you start making decisions even before school of what kid is going to be better than the other. And then parents naturally, and just like with anything, everybody wants to be affiliated with the winner. And if you select, now these are your kids, if you select a particular kid in the family to be the winner, the inference is the other one is the loser. And you might not think you might not think you're projecting that, but that's exactly what you're projecting. Because you're not aware that you're not taking good care of yourself and your health. So you're tired, you're anxious, you're annoyed, you're angry, you have a short temper because you work long hours, you might be sleep deprived, you're overworked and underpaid, you got more bills than money at the end of the month. There's so many different, you got issues with your spouse or your partner, your intimate partner. and y'all might be at it. You know what I'm saying? You might be on the verge of a divorce. There might be domestic violence at play. There might be infidelity. So you might have just extended family issues. You might be the breadwinner, and you're taking care of not just your nuclear family inside your house, but you're taking care of some extended family members. Maybe there's a sister or a brother you're taking care of. Maybe there's some parents you're taking care of because they got sick. So you have all of these different issues. And the fact of the matter is that you just really don't have time. And so you come to these premature decisions about your kids, and that affects your kid. Your kids feel it, but if you raise your kid in a way which was common back then, that if you say something to your parent in a way that's criticizing their parenting, you are liable to get hit. You are liable to be disciplined in a physical way, if you were the seemingly dumb kid. Now, the only kid that got a chance to speak up was the smart kid. And if you're growing up within that household as the kid, you observe these discrepancies. You look at the disparity between you as the dumb kid and the other kid as the smart kid, or vice versa. And you begin, and now that causes tension because there are receipts. It's very real. Parents rank their kid. And in that ranking, believe it or not, you are either blessing a kid or cursing a kid. And that affects the way it's demonic. It's something that needs to be broken. It's a psychological hole, because I'm going to tell you, scripture says you have to cast down wicked imaginations. It is the pulling down of strongholds and spiritual wickedness of high places. And anybody that says, "Oh, no weapon formed against you shall prosper," right? Any tongue that rise up against you, who shall condemn it? You shall condemn it. So you, as the person that has been called on one side, the negative side, if you were the dumb kid, you have to condemn those that speak that against you. You can't do that as a kid. So when you get older, you got to do it when you get older. And then nobody wants to hear what you got to say because you're the dumb one. And then they vilify you in a way. So that's the reality of the situation. But that's how we pass on generational wealth.
So I know for
By
me,
blessing our kids. Let me bring it full circle. We pass on generational wealth by blessing our kids, not cursing them. You have to verbalize what your kid is gifted at. In order to do that, you have to observe them in action, in your home, outside the home. You have to look at their gifts, talents, and abilities, and you have to tell them what their gifts, talents, and abilities are. You don't allow them to pick their professions, and you don't let them say something that's is going to have them in a poorhouse. You say, well, we're going to choose medicine, law, engineering. You need to do well in these subjects. After you obtain the right credentials that you can pay the bills with, then after you accumulate enough wealth, then let's talk about the dream. Let's build the dream as we work. And then once we have acquired enough money, then we can kind of move into what we do. You got to chart the course for your kids. You got to do it. First, you got to see. You got to write the vision and make it plain. So first, you need a vision and have that thing written down. And then you can't just have kids out here without having a vision for them. You ideally, you want to be thinking about, all right, if in the next couple of years I want to have this or have that. Now, the plan might not work. I'm living proof of that. I've had a plan ever since I was married. I was married at 25. I'm 45 now. I'm divorced now. Like, I just got divorced or finalizing a divorce or what have you. But the plan, it sputtered. There were hopeful times, but the vast majority of those times, man, I mean, it was a financial struggle. The professions I worked, um, because going off of, I'm trying to start a business early. Um, and the thing about starting a business is you need capital. You need capital in order to really, really do it right. You need somebody to help you. So this whole idea of get it yourself is ridiculous. And then you might have family members that are exploiting your position or attempting to exploit your position. They know you're trying to start a business, so they try to deliberately get you into a bad deal and exploit the little bit of money that you have. And this is the issue that we're faced with. We really have to really take a hard look at how we plan for our families. And then what kind of network do we have within the family that is willing to come alongside, understand what legacy is, and invest in what it is that you're trying to do? At least listen to it, at least be vested enough to listen to it. And then advice. I mean, I had family members that, I was trying to get into a particular industry. They were in that industry. I asked them, hey, can you help me out with this? Without blinking, without thinking, they said immediately, nope. And that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean they were bad people. It might have been a bad decision, but it doesn't take away from all of the good they've done. It doesn't take away from nothing like that.
That's
But
true.
at the end of the day, the idea of generational wealth is success leaves clues. There are universal principles, universal godly principles that we should be following. And then we have to pass down the proper mindset, encouragement, value for time, management, looking at acquisition in assets, loving one another, nurturing the vision, especially when it benefits the family name.
So let me
We
ask you
have to,
this. Let me let
what's
me
that?
let me break you this right here. Because
Yeah,
what you just said is broke my heart.
what's that?
So you had a vision and family members said no. Like not even a love.
That's common though. That's common.
That's beyond common. That's the
Yeah,
epitome of
that's
common.
common.
I
Yeah, that's
guess
nothing new.
my question is like, I'm gonna just come out to church, not even a love offering. Like it wasn't like I'm just quitting my job. Knowing I got a wife and the kids or a husband and
Mm-hmm.
bills. I'm asking for a love offering, a seed offering. Not, no, I don't want to use the word seed offering because that's no
It's just
an
an investment. That's all it is. Hey,
investment. I'm asking for
hey,
$100. I'm asking for
hey,
$100.
son, a daughter, a nephew, a niece, a
I'm asking
grandson,
for
a
$100.
granddaughter. Let me hear your plan. And then okay, so these are the words. Let me give you some sentence frames of what we should be saying, right? Let's go on the affirmation side. Son, daughter, niece, nephew, grandson, granddaughter, etc. Brother, sister, doesn't matter. Cousin, doesn't matter. Um, Let me hear what you got. You know what I mean? So what's your plan? Okay. All right. Sounds good. So we're encouraging, we're validating, we're listening. So what about this? Did you think about this? Okay. All right. Good. That'll come together. All right. So how much money do you need? All right. I don't have that much money, but this is what I can do.
Can do.
I don't have money. Even if you don't have money, I don't have money, but I got time. This is what I can do. If I don't have time, I got valuable information. I don't have time. I don't have money,
Even
but
the
I'm gonna tell
share,
you what.
even the
Wait, hold
share
on, hold on, hold on.
on social
I'm gonna
media
tell
is
you what.
inspiring.
These are the steps that have helped me, or these are the steps that you should take next. That'll work. Or you don't have advice, you don't have time, you don't have money, but you got people that you know.
Okay,
Hey,
no, no, wait,
hold
hold
on,
on.
hold on. Let me make a phone call. I'm gonna link you with my man or with my girlfriend, and
Network,
we're going to get you connected. And
network,
this is what we're going to do.
network,
This is what we're going to say. This is
network.
how we're going to make this happen because you got a good plan. I see that you're thinking about more than yourself. You're doing things, you're working hard, you're trying in an effort to keep the family together, and you're going above and beyond. You're not drinking, you're not smoking, you're not in the clubs, you're not gambling, you're not unfaithful, you're not doing any of that. You are going to church, you're home every day. Sometimes you're cooking, sometimes you're cleaning, you're being a good wife or husband.
Reasonable
You're
service.
holding down the fort the best way you know how. You just don't make a lot of money. So this is how we're going to get you from this level to this level
A
because your
friend of
plan
mine,
could definitely get you there. And
a friend
see,
of mine told
that
me,
is the level of investment that we're missing within the structures and the confines of our households and our families.
a friend of
And
mine told
that
me,
is generational wealth.
listen,
It's
a
like
friend of
you
mine
said in the
told me,
beginning, it's not always money. But if you want to talk about money, I mean, the people love to hate Donald Trump. His father gave him $1 million.
the bill.
Why? Because he wanted him to see how to invest and build upon whatever it is that he got. He became a billionaire. He fail and fail miserably?
Yep.
Yes, he did. But his father didn't just give him $1 million. His father gave him social capital. He surrounded him with lawyers. He surrounded him with his network. So you were supposed to, at the very least, you're supposed to have skills that your parents have. Whatever those skills are, that's generational wealth. So if you don't have time or money or energy or whatever, I you should have some skills that reflect something from our parents and what they did. So in the event that you didn't graduate from college, in the event you can't get a job, at least you have a set of skills that your parents had. That's passing on. That's generational wealth. The gospel of Jesus Christ. That's the greatest generational wealth you could pass on. Those biblical principles. That's sound doctrine. That thing saved my life in and out so many different times. My relationship with Jesus Christ saved my life so many times. It has given me, and my mother was so keen on that. I remember at 3 and 4 years old, she praising God in the middle of the living room, a roach infested townhouse. You know what I mean? Mice and all. You know what I'm saying? And it was rare. That was a rare occurrence. It was a short occurrence. It was something that it wasn't common. I didn't grow up like that. I grew up in a 5-bedroom house. I grew up black, middle class. I had a great, like my mother and father provided for me abundantly.
It was a
They,
season of
huh,
poverty,
what'd you say?
a season of poverty.
Yeah, it was just a season. But I grow up and like financially, oh my God, like that has been an ongoing thing. And it's an ongoing thing to where you got to question, like, man, like what what is that? Since the beginning. And this is where you got to reflect on your past. This is where you got to reflect on perhaps you have you do have a curse. Perhaps you do have covenants you need to break. Perhaps you do need to check your circle, uh, whether they're family members or friends or just your profession. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is, it's just one of those things, man. Like you just really have to do it, and so
I
that's how
believe
we.
I believe that we have, I'm looking at the views. We got 636. Sorry. Listen, don't let the gazelles fool you. 76 views, 3 shares, 35 comments. This is heavy. Um
What are the comments?
oh wow, let's see.
Read the comments.
I'm going on Facebook. Hold on.
You want to do the comments and then close out?
I'm about to. I can't even pull them up. It's a lot. My
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's so many hearts, shares. Hold on. Okay, my husband, my beloved, my king, because of expectation of different cultures, he says we have to explain to our children the certain ways and mannerisms that people act in the business world is not always associated with color. It is used of, he said it is the use of knowledge is common because we see each other through our own experiences. Invest equals nurture, nurture equals growth, growth equals lifestyles equals generations. I can't even scroll up. This is so many comments.
Really?
Okay, this is
Nice.
just from my husband, and he's speaking
Oh,
for,
what? Those are all his comments, or
yeah,
that's
like
that first one is him?
no, they're all his. They're all his. There's so many. When we go, when people go on Facebook, they'll see. Listen, we really, listen. It's the longest POV that we had. We're going on 2 hours, which I am. I'm in my. I'm just shining. Like I'm gonna go to bed like this. I'm gonna sleep like this. All I'm saying is this. I know for me, I was not the black sheep of the family, but the black sheep is celebrated. We all know who the black sheep was. You know who the black sheep was. Um, I celebrate that the fact that the black sheep is no longer the black sheep, that the black sheep is doing what they're supposed to be doing as a father, as a husband, as a
Yeah,
provider. Okay.
yeah,
I celebrate the fact that both of us, the
mm,
two pioneers in this family,
yeah,
we're business owners. We're not only we're business owners, we are Christians, we are perseverers, we are
yeah,
survivors, we are warriors. We're all about taking care of our family because it ain't just one; it's both of us. And I'm the biologically I have only one sibling. Okay, I thank God that we both had the business mindset to do better what our parents taught us. Our parents taught us to get a job, get benefits, have a nice house, keep it moving, whatever. But the concept of generational wealth goes further than just
mm,
having a house to come home to. In
yeah,
the event that you're evicted, you need a place to stay. It goes beyond education. It goes beyond. It goes to parenting. Okay, I have made it very clear. I shared with you this past week. I was born in chaos. I was
mm,
definitely a oops baby. Okay. I was born in chaos. I was an oops baby. I thank God that my father didn't abandon me as when my mother announced that she was pregnant. She was a teenage mother. My dad was like, hey, all right, let's keep it moving. He did what he's supposed to do as a father. My parents got married when I was 2. My father's still living. My father, I'm happily married. I got a husband of all husbands. My father found out I needed a wash machine. He took me to the appliance store, got me a wash machine. I was embarrassed because I'm 48 years old and need a wash machine. We could afford we wasn't like we didn't have any money. Wasn't like we could afford it, but that was like, I got it. My daughter, my son-in-law, my granddaughter. I have it. I'm going to bless you with it. It was around my birthday. It's a birthday gift. So I thank God for my dad. Okay, my dad didn't say, "Well, you got a husband, handle it yourself." I thank
yeah,
God for it. I thank God for the creativity that was given to me because my mother was a drama queen, my father was a writer. and manifested in me. I
Yeah.
thank God for the generational wealth that I am building because, again, I have a home, I have property, I have land. So, in the event that my daughter needs a place to stay when she's 58 years old, she's like, hey, I got to come home,
Right.
regroup, retrack, whatever.
Like
I'm like,
Celie at the end of the movie.
did she not have a house? But she had
Hey,
land.
Hose, you won that house, didn't
Listen, she had land, she had lemonade, she had Suge, she
you?
had
Land and
Sophia,
lemonade.
she
Yeah,
had
land and lemonade.
Sophia, she had Harpo. They all was in the house when Nettie came home. Listen, I just want to thank God for it. I thank God for the creativity that was given to me because that's no other but God. No other, nobody else but God. I
Mm,
thank God that the fact that I have a great husband that came into this property and said, listen, we gonna build on this property.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Not only is it a Davis property, it's a Starks property. I
yeah.
thank God for that. I thank God for you, my brother, because your knowledge, you
Yeah.
are. I'm about
Appreciate it.
when we do the POV next time. It's
Mm.
going to be the POV with Dr. King and E. Davis. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You,
all
you
right.
say I
I
won't.
believe. Oh no, I know you will.
Say I won't.
I know you will. I know you will.
We had more views ever before, and we're just getting started. I just thank to God for your knowledge, for your insight, and you're going to grow because I see the manifestation in you. I see God moving in you. I see the God shaking all the negativity off of you, all the hate,
Yeah,
all the haterism
yeah,
off. Of you. I just thank God for you. We go back.
yeah. We do. We
We go
do.
back to the
I
90s.
appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you.
What'd you tell your son the other day? We go back
Yeah, we go back,
to the
man.
youth crusade. Rest in peace, Pastor
Yeah,
Bozeman.
yeah.
We
Right,
go
right, right.
back.
Rest in peace. Yeah, we
And
go
it's the
back.
fact that two minds equally united,
Yeah,
brother and sister, to
yeah,
share the concept of generational wealth. Generational wealth is not just money given, not just an inheritance given down to when you die, not just property given down to when you die. It is the education and knowledge to continue to build
yeah.
for
For
the
sure.
purpose of our children to not only to network, to commune with other communities, but with the gift of discernment. You don't just unite with other people, but to commune to unite with other communities, to continue to build, to
Mm,
donate to society, further the poor, and to establish this is our point of view. This is to establish. If you got something to say that can give your point of view, say it. We are open to receive it. We're open to understand it. We're open to listen to it. All right, family. Listen, we coming on 2 hours.
yeah, that's crazy.
I'm surprised this brother's still up. I'm ready to party. This brother's usually in bed by like 7:30, 8 o'clock. This is my brother from another mother. We can, like I said, we go
You
back
ain't
to.
lying. Man, I was tired. I'm up early.
Listen, I'm about to put the head wrap on and call it night.
Man, I'm tired right now.
I'm about to do the
I'm
exfoliating
tired.
thing. I'm
Yeah,
about
I'm
to.
up early. I'm up early.
All
So,
right. So,
all right, sis.
all right.
Yeah,
POV was sponsored by Starks Contracting LLC, E Davis LLC, Writers Block LLC, and of course the King's Press. Any questions or concerns, please post in the comments. You will see us on the YouTube channel. Give me a couple hours to post that. You can definitely find us on Facebook at Writers Block Publishing LLC, E Davis Publishing LLC, the Ronnie Ron official. You think I find your
oh
Instagram?
yeah, you definitely say you.
I got your IG, family. I got your IG. I got your IG. The Ronnie Ron official. Definitely comment and just share this video. All right, and we will be back soon. The POV. All right, you guys have a good Sunday and happy holidays. Happy Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.